So we'll continue on another adjacent sustainability topic on finance for good. And I'm really pleased to welcome on the stage our next speakers, which I will make sure not to withdraw the names. I'm sorry again. So Benjamin Révillon and Frédéric Terret. Please, welcome. I give you hand over my mic and happy to hear a bit more about your topic.
Just before we start, is there any non-French speaker in the room? Are you you're non-French speaker? Okay.
Well, let's do that in English.
So who are you, Frédéric?
Well, I'm executive director in Fondation de France, and as you may know, Fondation de France is a community foundation at the scale of a state, and it's the biggest non-profit organization in France. We do host private donor advised funds and corporate funds. We have 1,000 of them. We're the biggest funder of general interest and common good in France. Like we invest in philanthropy, something like 300 million per year, and we have philanthropic assets in, well, because probably you are interested in figures, in by 2.5 billion euros that we do try to invest for common good also. And Benjamin, what are you doing here? Who are you?
So I'm the founder of Bex Capital. We're a secondary investment firm. We're pretty far from Frédéric Turf. But you know, as part of financing important causes, we've implemented a few years ago a X-share, what we call an X-share schemes, which is a no-fee, no-carry scheme for foundations and NGOs. So basically, if Frédéric were to invest with us, we will basically do it for free. And we find it a straight way to give back. And it will be additional money to the money we raise, so it's extra work, but we'll be happy and proud to do it. And it's something we came up as, you know, what can we add to the system to give back, given that, you know, we are making money out of money, and what can we do to give back to society, and basically it's, you know, a bit of parabole des talents, and we're good at making returns, and you're good at financing good causes, and some NGOs are very good at, most of them are very good at what they're doing, and so if we can help them to have more financial means at the end of the day to finance their cause, be happy to do so, and we'll be even more happy if we could emulate this system across the industry, and so that, you know, whenever someone, I don't know, the American Red Cross or Médecins Sans Frontières invests part of the balance sheet in a fund, that everybody is happy to do it for free. So that's more this is my angle and the reason for me being here. But I think the idea is to more interview you, Frédéric, about, you know, how you look at financing important causes in a context of private equity. What do you look for? What do you hope for?
Well, first of all, I just realized when preparing the Congress that we have been for 52 years in Fondation France doing grant making, doing private equity in our own way, because we analyze all the charities, we make track records, we measure their impact, we review their sustainability, and we do grant them so that they can produce a long-term benefit. The difference is the benefit is social good, helping people, making a better environment. So we do not talk about profit. Most of the time we grant, so we don't expect a financial income, but we do expect an income, a long-term income for the planet and for the people. So in terms of practice, on a daily basis, we do mostly what you do as a private equity. we go through the organization, we see what they are doing, we try to help them scaling up, we give them the better advice. Sometimes we go in their governance and we try to provide them some good advice on their juridical, their business market, because if they are not non-profit, they are non-profit, but they have to have a business plan in order to be sustainable and to maintain that activity for people, for helping people. And I really think that today we are at a momentum because we all aware that we need a change. You all know the planet is going very badly and it's going to be worse. And we will have to change the way we think about investing and having an impact. So we desperately have to help producing new techniques, new way of thinking, because we want to continue having a sustainable life on this earth. And for that, we have to build sustainable business. We will not rely only on non-profits. So what is important is that the demand for investors is really rising. Well, of course, all the foundations are looking very deeply on what kind of businesses they do invest. But the demand on individuals and company is also rising. And if a for-profit company wants to be sustainable, I had interviews with big CEOs of great French companies that say, now it's starting to be our license to operate, to change our business and to have more sustainable way of producing, making goods and selling those goods. So we really have something in common. It's the limit between non-profit and for-profit has to join, and we have to forget this limit and trying to work together, investors with your capacity and a non-profit to determine what will be tomorrow sustainable business model.
So to make the bridge with private equity, what do you expect? What do you hope for the industry in general? But let's say you have a big balance sheet, right? You said 2.5 billion. You're investing this with some private equity firms.
Yes.
What are your criteria, and how do you go about it?
Well, in terms of investment, we have a big dilemma because we have to produce money, because it's out of the money, out of the profits on our endowment, on our 2.5 billion that we can operate our programs. So we need to keep those profits. But on the other hand, we cannot destroy what we're producing on one side. So we have to make sustainable investment. We have to use that huge amount of money to create an impact and to be in a virtuous cycle. So we expect from our partners in terms of investing to understand our true goals that are, of course, having kind of a profit, because we need that profit, but also having a true impact. And that is not so, and having a true impact, a true social impact, is not always going to the easiest social companies. Some are very easy because they are helping people that just are borderline, but they will come in the system very easily. And we do have to help the most struggling ones, the further from it's getting in the society. So it's always a very tough discussion with our partners, because we really want to have a true sustainable impact. We also have, as the first non-profit in France, we have also a reputation problem. We cannot make any mistake today. It's impossible that it appears in one of our funds that we have some money going to one company or one activity we don't want to put money on. So it's really something that we are inventing today with our partner, all our financial partners.
So what solutions have you found?
What solution? Well, first we create an impact fund, our own impact fund with a partner, with a private equity, a very well-known private equity partner, that is France 2I and France Impact Investing, meaning France Impact Investing. It's a 200 million fund, and the first criteria is impact, the first one, and only the second one is profit. So first we go to the impact, and if the impact is not perfectly there, we don't even look at the profit aspects of the business, which has been very difficult for the analyst in our partners, even if he was very committed in the project. So we are learning together. We are building the criteria and we are trying, but it's not so easy at this point to invest 200 million to true impact projects. There is a bigger demand, in fact, on investors than the offer on true social business.
Do you have enough? When did you do this?
Well, we launched the fund 2 years and a half ago.
Yeah, so it's too early to look to see if it's working profit-wise, right?
Yeah, it is. It is a bit too much, in fact. The profits are too important. So we say to the partner, well, we don't expect so much profits. And they look at us because it's not natural. Say, why don't we want some profit, but we don't expect. If it's too profitable, maybe it's not having such an impact. So it's totally new.
Okay, so they found impact type of investments, and they managed to make good profits.
Exactly. But what we also expect from private equitors is also to because you're making money out of money, as you said, is also to commit themselves.
Yeah.
And what you are doing is great, because the access to the financial market for non-profit is very difficult. It's very expensive, and they don't go to the most professional. Anyway, they have we have big assets, but most of the charities, they don't have big assets. So they don't have big tickets. So they will not have the better product. And they will have what people are ready to sell to them, which is not very good. So that's also very important.
Which also might not be as green as they say it is, right?
Yes, well, everything is green. This television is green. This floor is green. So everything program is being green, which is not always very true. It's not the worst. Sometimes the green says, "I'm not the worst in the world," but that's not what the consumer wants. That's not what the investor wants. You don't want to have the worst product ecologically, not the worst product. Maybe and when it's green, sometimes it's the second worst product, but it's not the last one, which is not very good. So that's also very important for charities to help them raising new amounts. And I think we need to put the best competence, the best analyst, the best investor to the subjects, because that's where is tomorrow potential, and it's also for your profit, because whatever we want or decide, tomorrow we will all have to make a change. So there are new laws, but tomorrow's laws will be stronger, and the companies, small companies that will not invest in those sustainable, those impact criteria, they will not be the winner tomorrow. All the big companies are moving and developing much further than the law today. They are going before the law, so above their obligation. And I really think it's really moving. We have already something like 10 private equity companies that came to Fondation France to create their own foundation. So they commit themselves and they try to push the impact to their participation.
So when these private equity companies are setting up their own foundation, Is it to invest into charities and NGOs, or is to again invest into impact funds?
Well, private equity, there are companies. So when they create a foundation, they want to have an impact as a company. Because they're making money, sometimes a lot of money. In this sector, the people have good salaries. And I think today, when we see young people, that's not enough. A good salary doesn't make people stay in a company. You want to be part of a community that has a goal. Of course, you are helping company, you are making profit, you're making good and young company become sustainable. But if you can share your part of helping the planet and being a part of the biggest problems we are facing today and we will face tomorrow, it's really raising the commitments. So what we have in foundation from private equity is commitment from the company, commitment from the investors, parts of the benefits given to non-profit action, and also a discussion with the participation so that they commit themselves. And as a private equity funds sometimes have the majority in their participation, they can also have an impact to a lot of companies. And at the end of the day, sustainable companies, the company we can see now that companies that are investing in new solutions, more ecological, more sustainable, that have another position with people with disabilities, with giving access to all kinds of people, they are winning more than other companies. They have greater success, and it will go on. We receive a lot of gifts in Fondation France. Our growth is more than, it's 10 to 20% per year, and we're still we're the biggest organization. And today the market of philanthropy in France, it's 8.5 billion per year, and probably it will be double in the 10 next years, because people want to be committed. And in fact, money has to be invested.
When you say the market for philanthropy is like philanthropy gifts?
Yes, gifts are really raising, and what we see is a lot of new philanthropies coming. Well, we always talk about American philanthropies, but we have a lot of French philanthropies that come into philanthropy. They're young, they're entrepreneurs, and they're ready to give a lot of the money. And they're also ready to share or to make a part of the profit of their company going into charities they decide, a foundation they create, and it's becoming a big asset in their company. We have Fondation Nature et Découverte, for example, that is the store Nature et Découverte, and everything that is sold in the shops Nature et Découverte, 1% is going to the Fondation Nature et Découverte. And the Fondation Nature et Découverte for Environment is ruled by the employees of Nature et Découverte. And there was the study with the employees that said the first asset of the company is the Fondation. Because each time a seller is selling one product, 1% is going for environment, and he will have a say in where the money is coming and to which project. So it's really important, and it's sustainable. It's good for the employees. It's good for the clients because they're pleased to know that, and it's making the company stronger.
Very interesting. It's so just to keep on private equity. How much more do you think you're going to invest in private equity funds out of your 2.5 billion?
I can't say because I'm not the head treasurer, so he will decide and he knows better than me. But
I mean, today, how much of that 2.5 billion is in private equity?
It's probably something like 10% only.
Okay.
The other is on the market, but going into private equity, and especially in social impact, helps us having a more direct effect on economy and on the producing and the way of the company change themselves. So this 2.5 billion gives us a lot of power. So we try to realize, because we need really the benefits. We only live on gifts and the endowments. And some gifts are in the endowment for producing money for the programs of Fondation France. So we really rely on the benefits of the endowment. But we also want to share and to have an impact with the use of the endowment. So it's really discussion going on. And now we are also talking about making loans to non-profits.
Okay.
And if we make loans, we are ready to lose the money, because the non-profit may never give the money back.
When you say non-profit, you mean an NGO?
NGO, yes, small NGOs, because what we need is
so not the Red Cross, like
not the Red Cross, because the Red Cross doesn't need our money. So what we try to do is work on a small and medium-sized NGOs. So really working on PME, but non-profit PME, non-profit and NGOs, small ties, and helping scaling up. So that's why I say we're very close to private equity, because we help great projects with very good potential on the long term, with very good impact, with new method, growth, scaling up, and develop, and ideally starting local and scaling up to all the country and maybe internationally. So that's the aim of what we do as a grant maker.
And so when did you first invest in private equity, except for the project you mentioned before, or maybe that was it?
I think the discussion is on from it has been starting really 12 years ago.
Okay.
When we decided to add the responsibility on what the money not only the money we spend, but the money we had, the assets.
Okay. And do you ever see yourself going for the American endowment model, which has more like 40% in private equity? Which, I mean, that's very extreme, but do you see the 10% moving to something?
Probably not, because we do have a big responsibility on that money. It's not Fondation France money. It's a people money that have given into Fondation France. So we need this money to stay there and to produce regular revenues. So we cannot be as adventurous. So probably the big institutions that have been fundraising, like Harvard for 1 century and a half, they have this huge amount of money and they can be more adventurous. We're quite an old organization, but only 50 years ago, and the money comes from the people's money, the citizen money. So we cannot play with this money. We have to be very responsible and give it the biggest impact.
Yeah, I mean, investing on public markets could be also perceived as playing with the money, no?
Well, we try to be a little conservative, but it's a lot of criteria, because we have to make money, we have to keep the money, we have to also have regular basis fundings, because every year we grant 12,000 projects. So they rely on us. We have a responsibility. When you're a totally private actor, only living on gifts, and that is giving to non-profits 300 million per year, you cannot just say, well, this year is not very good, so we only give 100 million.
Yeah.
Because some non-profit, we try not to make them dependent of us, but we just can't say, well, no benefits this year, we don't do anything this year. Because
so you need to play it safe, so it's liquid, so at least you can make this grant making every year.
Yes, we really have to have a guarantee of that.
Great. Is there anything you want to add before we ask the audience for potential questions?
It's in this Congress there are great competence, and what because it's life changing for you also, and you can be committed and give those competence to non-profits. So you can stay in your work, but also you can give your competence, because having financial strategy analysis competence, it's what the non-profit sector is really needing. And it's too expensive. So if
So
you're ready to do some volunteering, it's also very helping.
Yeah, so you're touching on the point of basically volunteering your skill set
Exactly.
for projects that
What you
need.
do in a way,
Yeah.
you're doing that for non-profit because you're not getting paid. So it's great.
Yeah. So indeed, it's another way for people, highly educated, successful private equity people to, if to carve out some spare time to actually sponsor project with the time and give their knowledge to build business plans and challenge and coach.
Yeah.
But another way to think about. If we turn to the audience, is there any questions?
So thank you for the explanations. I'm very interested with one line of you, Frederick, when you say when it is too profitable, maybe you're not making enough impact. So I would like to know what is your threshold in considering this is impactful enough and it's still time to make a profit. And I want to know the borderline in your point of view.
It's difficult to say because it depends on these different areas. But some, like we saw, education, it's more profitable, like than helping disabled people or unemployed people that have been unemployed for 10 years, but we need to help them also. So it's really difficult. What I would love to do is having a philanthropist that accept to build a fund that are negative profits, that is doing investment, but is ready to lose money every year on that. That will be great, because at the end of the day, why earning money every year and having more every year? So it will be a funny thing to say you don't lose everything, but you may lose a little bit, 1 or 2% per year, and that's not too bad. You will not die of that.
My question is about ESG, because as you said, you have designed and you're implementing standards for decades. And how do you react now with all these new trends? Is it for you all what you did before, or does it help you to add new arrows to your tools?
Well, it's always a good news because it's a new normal. Yes, like Article 9 that you told me about, it's a new normal. You have to have that as a criteria. So, well, it's not enough, but we all know that we are not doing enough in our everyday life. We do know. We take the plan, we know all that. But it's a new normal, and it's pushing the limits and educating people. And I think it's very helpful. So I hope the policymaker keep going, publishing new laws. It's always, I know, a pain in the neck, a new law, because you have to adapt and so on. But it's helping. And as we have to change, and probably in the coming 10 years make tremendous change on the way we're living, well, it's helping. It's not enough, but that's the beginning.
I think it just, everything that goes in the right direction is helping. So, you give time, you give a percentage of your profits, you give X shares like we do, you give a portion of your carried interest. Some might be judged as being more efficient than others, but it's all going in the right direction. And I think as an industry, we could do a lot to bridge the gap between foundation, NGOs, charities, and us. With the NGO world needs to recurring revenues. They should have access to the returns that we generate. They should not be afraid to invest with us, and we should be willing to help them finance their cause, and to do it, to be clever about it, and indeed, like when I see that private equity foundation set up by private equity firms actually rely on your knowledge instead of doing it themselves and duplicating and everything. It's, they lever your know-how. It's a very clever way to do it as well.
Well,
Any more
thank you
questions?
very much, and bravo to the both of you.